How many companies do you know that bad news travel fast? Our McKinsey partner, I mentioned Shrikant before, but Shrikant told me one day, he's like, I've never seen a company where the culture actually allowed bad news to travel very fast, which is exactly what you want to hear as a leader. Good news travels at warp speed. My kids get an A on the test, I hear it like immediately. They don't get a good grade, I find out a month later. And companies are no different. And so when you can see that people in your organization will speak up when there's a problem, when there's an issue, then you know you're getting it right and people have the skill. So I pay attention for how fast bad news travels.
Yes. And then the silo protection mechanism kicks in, because if you have a problem, the first thing you do is you try to hide it.
Absolutely.
Right. And then what do? You blame somebody else.
Correct.
If you can't hide it, well, it wasn't my fault. It was operations. It was supply chain. It was purchasing.
And why do people do that? Because the culture doesn't allow you to fall short. Because we didn't get to the mindset yet, but I can't help it. If you want people to dare to be great, if you want people to take risks, then by definition, if you take risks, you are going to fall short sometimes. You are going to, quote, fail, and I'll get to failure in a minute. And as an organization, you have to be okay with that. You have to learn from that. That actually comes from the behavior of the boss, not the individual. Because if you're my boss, okay, I'll take a chance. I'll swing for the fence. But if I don't hit it over the fence and you come back and dress me down for it, Mama didn't raise a fool. I'm not doing it again. And so it's really about the boss and that mentality. And it's also then redefining success and failure. As part of our mindset is we never fail. We win or we learn. That was from Mandela, by the way, not us, but it's powerful because you have to redefine winning and you have to redefine losing, if you will. And if you have a mindset where we're not ever going to fail, we may not reach the objective, but we're definitely going to win. We're going to learn from it and we're going to move forward. And then you have to have the courage of convictions to do that again.
Yes.
Because the thing about high performers, what do they not like to do? Fall short.
Yes.
We don't like to not win. And so you have to really redefine it and be able to say, I am a high performer, even when I don't hit my mark every time. That's when great things happen. We don't want people to, I always say, I don't want people to think outside the box. I don't want them to see a box. There's no box. There's just the art of the possible. And that's tough to do in this industry a little bit.
But imagine when people listen to this, when you work in a culture like that, it's so exhilarating and it's so rewarding because you do something, you take a risk. Maybe you thought, well, I'm not sure if I got the skill set to do this or if I got all the information, but you do it anyway. And then you win, you feel that much stronger. You have that much confidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It just grows.
Bouncing back from something you fall short of and doing something great afterwards feels even better than knocking it out of the park one time. But I will tell you this, Jan, it's not for everyone. Yeah. And I don't want it to be. You think about it. If you want to be the best in the world, you simply want the best people to work for you. And so I have said publicly many times, maybe our culture is for 5 or 10% of the workforce out there, maybe, because I think it is exhilarating. I see a tremendous amount of excitement. Again, I'm not suggesting that we're perfect, but there's a lot of people that don't want that level of, I say pressure, but
they just want to come in.
They want to play it safe. Hey, listen, I know I can hit 100. Jan, I'm going to tell you 80. I'm going to hit 90. You're going to think I'm a genius. I'm going to go home. That's not how we play the game. I'm going to tell you I'm going to hit 120. I think I can do it. I hit 110 and you're high-fiving me all the way home. Yeah. Did I fail? Did I fall short? I don't know. I'm higher than the 90 that I would have given you if I was sandbagging with you. Yeah. And so it takes more than words. Yes. It takes leadership behavior. Like those moments where someone falls short. So culture is the behavior of leaders. But if you were to peel that onion back, it's a little more. Culture is really seared in the behavior of leaders when something goes wrong.
Yes.
When something happens that's not good, that's when it sears in the real culture. When someone took a risk, a very calculated risk, and fell really short. Yeah. How does Voss react? How does so-and-so react? And it's those moments, everybody's watching you. Does he really mean we never fail? We win or learn? Or is that just like a saying on the wall? So I think that is the hard part, not just the articulation and the behavior and the consistency of that behavior. Because all you have to do is get that wrong one time. Yeah. And that permeates. Exactly. So it's powerful, but it's tough.